welcome to my stream. Okay, what? Dude, come on. This is actually really starting to get um come on, man. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm actually starting to get really annoyed by this. Um anyway, so today I'm gonna talk about some things that I've learned since quitting drinking, because it's been a while since I've done a sobriety talk. Um, and I've been thinking about a few things, especially since after you know being in San Francisco with the homies, and just like kind of you know yeah, I'll get into it in a moment here, but I'm gonna let folks find the stream. I was trying to do a vertical stream today because I wanted to try and get reach a wider audience, but YouTube, like, now, before it was, you know what, whatever. I'm just whatever. I've had a fucking day today, folks. Already, it's only like halfway over. It's been a day. Who was here for the stream yesterday? And if you were, you might understand why today I'm doing a sobriety talk. Raise your hand if you were on the stream yesterday and you actually watched the whole thing, or at least got, it was a roller coaster. It was a fucking roller coaster. I guess I'll do a little recap of that in a second. Hey, Terry Ray and Chris Bandit were on stream yesterday. Fuck, dude, what a roller coaster. Did you guys see the second half, though? The part where everything changed? Because you remember, during the first half of the stream, I was like, hell yeah, I got approved, and, I got my casting done, and things are finally looking up. But did you see what happened in the second part? Chat. Folks. People. Tell me what you remember from that part, because that's what I've been dealing with today. And I also paid a parking ticket, which kind of sucked. Yeah. Diguli says, I feel like AI is operating my insurance company. Good luck. Hand raised. Yeah, seriously, dude. Terry Ray says, oh yeah, not the second. Yeah. So, if you didn't see that part, you might want to go back and rewatch that video, at least after the second half, because maybe like 2/3 of the way in, halfway in, 2/3, I got a call from the prosthetic clinic that I had started working with, and I got denied. I went in 72 hours. I went from getting a call from my prosthetic clinic saying that I had been approved, got the casting done, and then called and told that I was denied. So now all my services are on hold. And so I was in a pretty fucked up mood yesterday. And if there was any part of me that didn't have the resolve to stay on my sobriety path, that would have definitely been a situation where I would have been like, you know what? Fuck everything. I'm fucking done. I'm sick of this. Fortunately, I have unshakable resolve, so, you don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to do a talk today about things that I've learned since quitting drinking, to kind of reaffirm to myself why I've quit drinking. Not like I'm considering taking it back up again by any means. But If I were, god damn it, I sure would be. For fuck's sake. Um, fuck. And I'm laughing because I laugh when things are fucked up. I have this. It's kind of just like, like what else can you do but laugh? Um, so yeah, it's pretty fucking shit. So today I've been on the phone with my insurance company, my doctor, my caseworker. Um, that's been my whole morning, and I also paid a parking ticket, so I'm out $75, which sucks. Yeah, I didn't have the spoons to contest it or anything like that. Uh, yeah, but here I got me a nice fucking bargain brand plain carbonated water here, ice cold. Cheers, y'all. Let's talk. Brittany says, please appeal the denial. That's so ridiculous. That's literally what I was doing this morning. But they told me that I need to get my doctor to request a peer-to-peer, which takes up to 2 weeks to schedule. So, yeah, and they said that if I tried to do it, it would probably take longer. So that's why I had to call my doctor, and hopefully that will, yeah. Yeah. um, so, that's, I'm pretty upset, not gonna lie. I'm pretty upset. But, I'm not gonna relapse. I've gotten like a year and 7 months in now, 7.5 year and 7.5 months, and that's really great. I have completely changed my life around. Like, I wasn't like doing bad stuff when I was drinking. I was doing good stuff, like there were definitely a few situations where I had like a very unstable mental state, but I didn't make my problems other people's problems. There were definitely times where I did, but that wasn't, it's like you can only do so much damage control with alcoholism. But anyway, let's see. Betsy Bay says I had 17 years sober and went back out for 10. Sober again, going on 4 years. Yay for me. Happy to hear about your sobriety. Hell yeah. Terry Ray says I can tell you're upset. I've been watching you for 5+ years. Yeah. It's I'm like very angry. I'm so mad right now. I'm very mad. I'm very angry. I'm very pissed. But yeah, I've been in much worse states. And what I have learned through quitting drinking is that no matter how upset and pissed off and fucked up life gets, relapsing is not going to make it better. It just won't. It's never going to make it better. It will provide you with very temporary distance from the issue. And, there have been times in my life where I really needed that. There was, like, nothing better that I could have done. I don't regret doing what I did in the moment because I really didn't have any better tools at my disposal to deal with things. Like, there were times in my life that were so fucked up that getting that little bit of distance from the issue just gave me enough time to not suffer as much trauma as I would have if I didn't get fucking wasted and just like, kind of I don't know. But the thing is, like, you're actually, you're holding off that processing, but you have to process it at some time, and the longer you hold it off, the bigger it's gonna get. And if you just never process stuff, it gets bigger, and then it gets so far away that you can't see the full spectrum of the issue that you aren't dealing with. So then it becomes this analogous darkness that takes over your life, and you can't process it after a certain point because you don't remember what it is that fucked you up so bad in the first place. And that seems like it could be nice, but it actually causes more trauma, and it's harder and harder to work with. And I drank hard for 15 some years, and all of those big problems that I put off and put off and put off, eventually I had to tackle like the big monster of the demon that was torturing my psyche for so many years. Groovy RV says, hi Corn, sorry to hear you were denied. That's not right. You look nice. Loving the hair color. Thank you. I appreciate that. Skeptical says, using drugs is not sobriety. No shit, dumbass. I'm sober off of alcohol. I smoke weed. And if you're one of those fucking purists that's going to come in here and be like, you're not sober, I'm going to ban your ass because I don't give a fuck what you have to say. And you can go fuck yourself. Don't ever get on somebody's ass that is in recovery. Ever. I don't care if they're on fucking Suboxone. If they're not on heroin, good for fucking them. Because it was the heroin that was killing them. So any of y'all that want to come in here and fucking get on my ass about fucking smoking weed and whatever and drinking coffee, I don't know. Like if you're one of those types of people, get the fuck out of here. Do yourself a favor, because I'm gonna ream your ass. I'm in a foul fucking mood, and if you give me a target, I will fucking ream your asshole, dude. 100%. Yeah. And I do Kratom. I'm probably going to do Kratom during this stream because I am in a lot of pain. And I have been for a long time. And this issue with prosthetic, you know, I did quit Kratom for a couple of months, I think. Like, yeah, probably about at least a month and a half. I took it back up again, like, maybe a couple weeks ago, but not everyday use, just as needed, you know. And if you're gonna get on my ass about fucking Kratom, you can double go fuck yourself, because, you know, otherwise what? I would get prescribed some opiates for pain? Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather go with Kratom. It's something that I know what it is. It's not good. It's not like good for you, but it's better than being in an incredible amount of pain and super pissed off, and it's better than relapsing. So, you know. Cass says, "Did you drink to help with your pain?" That's when I started. Yeah, like emotional and physical pain for sure. Terry Ray says, I take Suboxone for peripheral neuropathy pain in my feet. It hurts so bad. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, you know, like, it's a tough thing to deal with. And chronic pain can fuck you up more than just like being in physical pain. It does a big number on your mind and your emotional state. And I've been dealing with that for over a year now, since before I got to LA. But yeah, anyway. So I just got back from San Francisco. We did a wrestling event I was part of. I won my match. I won a prize. And I stuck around to help out with the group and my friend Mish for 2 weeks out there, and you know, it was a lot of fun. But like everybody, I was the only person in the house that didn't drink, and that's not a problem in and of itself. What became a problem for me was that everybody in the house was there to drink, and they wanted to go to bars every night. Um, which, you know, I'm cool going to bars, like, you know, a couple times a week, hang out with friends. I do it a lot. I still enjoy nightlife and hanging out with the homies. I'll buy people drinks even, like, I don't care. But I don't want to go to a bar every single night. It's just not fun for me, and it's not like that it's triggering. It's just that it's really fucking boring. Cause like when everybody's wanting to go and do something that I don't do, like I'll hang out, but there's nothing for me to do. And one of the things that I've learned since quitting drinking is that there is like so much more to life than drinking activities. And I, you know, I didn't need to learn that. Like I knew that like consciously, but not like in practice. And I also learned that most folks aren't focused on that. Like I always thought that our culture was so built around alcohol, but it turned out that I had just built my life around alcohol. You know, there's a lot more things to do than going to a bar, and there's a lot more things to do than go to events where alcohol is the main thing that is offered. And there's so many fun ways to party without alcohol. And partying isn't all that there is to do, right? Like, I've always been somebody that enjoys being outdoors and doing outdoor activities and physical stuff. And I've been having trouble doing that because of my leg situation right now. But there's still ways to get outside and ways to be active, and I have been doing that. And that's what I want to do. Oops. So that is one thing I learned, that there's a lot more ways to have fun and enjoy yourself that aren't based around alcohol. And alcohol consumption is such an expensive habit too. Like the last night that I was in San Francisco, everybody wanted to hit like one last event, you know, and it was a bar, and of course there's a $10 cover, and I opted out. Like I was, you know, 10 steps in, following the group. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. And then like I was like, no, actually no, I'm not. I'm not gonna pay $10 to sit in another bar and buy nothing. You know, I don't really, at that point I didn't care what kind of entertainment there was. It was just like I'm over it. You know, so I stuck around back at the Airbnb and just kind of kicked it, and it was chill. But yeah, through that experience I definitely learned something. Like if I'm in that situation again where I'm hanging out with a bunch of people and all they want to do is go out to bars and drink and stuff, that I need to have my own kind of plan to do stuff that interests me, and you know, take initiative to be that person that's like, okay, well, while you guys are going to the bar, I'm gonna go on a nature walk or something, or I'm gonna go sightseeing or whatever, and I'll pick you guys up afterward or something, or you know, meet up with you later or whatever. Yeah, it's a lot of you know, it's a lot of like relearning how to be a human and how to do stuff that like I've never been a crowd follower, but alcohol kind of turned me into a crowd follower, I guess, and I'm unlearning that, because you know, I got stuff to do. I got things to do, places to be. You know. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Rushan says, to me, smoking pot is better for the public than me drinking. Yeah, that's fair. Terry Ray says, I'm not diabetic. It's from chronic back pain for so long. I had lumbar stenosis for 10 years, big back surgery in 2018. It helped a lot. Rushan says that's why I smoke pot, because it helps my back. I have a fusion in my lower back from 98. Damn, yeah, back problems are no joke. That's for real. Rushan says have a nice 4th. Groovy. Oh, okay. Groovy says I gotta go smoke. Have a nice 4th. Yeah, I will not be celebrating the 4th of July. Absolutely not. We are not. We are not a free country anymore, but that's a whole other topic. I will be going to a protest. Chan says, I'm actually allergic to alcohol. I keep breaking out in handcuffs. Oh no. Yeah, that's another thing that I learned about myself in quitting drinking is that, like, alcohol is totally a gateway drug. You know, people say that weed is a gateway drug. It's alcohol, because, like, I like getting fucked up. I really do. I do recreational drugs once in a while. I really haven't been anymore because I've lost interest in it, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, alcohol was always kind of a gateway to more drugs for me, and I didn't realize that, like, until pretty recently. I mean, I realized it consciously, like, you know, logically and reasonably, like, I realized that, but not, like, in practice and experience. You know, so you have a few drinks, you get a little spicy, and you're like, yeah, let's order a bag or something, you know, like, and that was kind of my cycle. Yeah, I would call up the plug, you know, and that's not good, especially when you're poor like I am. But yeah, it's like I still do a little bit of, you know, recreational substances once in a while, but I don't have an interest in it like I used to. Um, and I don't have the money for it too. Cass says badass. I bet a lot of other people are boycotting the 4th too. Yeah, a lot of folks are. Brittany says that's growth. You should be proud of myself. You know, I mean, it's not so much a pride thing. It's just like it is growth, and it's learning things. It's, you know, there's no right way to live. There's a few wrong ways to live, but there's no right way to live. And I'm not here to tell anybody that the ways that they deal with their chronic physical or emotional pain is wrong or anything. But, you know, drinking only prolongs that. It doesn't make it go away. You're going to have to eventually deal with it, or it's going to turn into a big analogous shadow over your life. And that's the truth. Terry says you have to find another group of sober people. I have sober friends. I was just, you know, at an event, and I'll be going to more events like that this year. We're going to New York in August, and there's going to be a Chicago event next year, another event in LA, but we won't be staying together in an Airbnb for the one in LA because we're in LA, so that's a little better. All right. I got some Chinese freight trains in the background here. Very soothing. Whoa. How many of you here in chat are in recovery or recovered from some type of substance? Let me know. Hey Terry, what's up? Terry says, I drink a little before bed. I have a neck injury since 2018. Helps 6 hours sleep. Yeah, I get it, man. I did that for many years. It does help for that in the immediate moment. But the thing is, you know, like, it adds more problems that you don't realize are from alcohol over time, and it can actually increase your long-term pain in other ways that you don't consciously realize. And it also adds to your depression, which I struggle with depression, and I always have. And I didn't realize how much my alcohol consumption exasperated my depression. So then after a while, I was drinking because of depression too, not realizing that the alcohol was actually making my depression worse. So it's just this horrible, deadly cycle um, that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Perpetuates itself. I'm gonna find another video. Chris Bandit is in recovery. Congratulations, dude. Whatever stage you're at, I'm glad to hear that. Let's do Trains Across America. Big Steam. Hell yeah. Very soothing. Hi, Satan. We're gonna give Satan a little treat. Rushen says I have 20 years away from crack cocaine. Damn. Congratulations. That's a hard one, I tell you. It really is. Another thing that I've learned since quitting drinking is like, and other drugs too, is that like, at first, here you go, Satan, you want this treat? At first it feels like you'll never feel joy again, right? Because like nothing can match that joy of like, or joy, you know, that feeling of dopamine release, of the ritual of setting yourself up to get fucked up, right? Like there's a ritual to it, whatever your drug choice is, you know, and then that first hit, there's just nothing quite like it. But what I've learned in recovery is that once you get a fair enough distance away from that feeling and your mind kind of starts to retrain, that you find actual joy in things again, not synthetic joy. And I do struggle with like dopamine as well. Like my brain doesn't release dopamine in situations where most folks would get a dopamine release. Like when I finish a task, most people, you finish a task and you feel good. You're like, yeah, I finished the thing. Now I can move on with my day. But because of my ADHD, I don't process that. So you know, I just feel less bad when I finish something. Instead of getting a dopamine release, I just get an absence of the feel bad chemical, whatever's going on. I don't know what that, you know, what that process is called. But you know, there is real joy in life that can be felt. But first you have to go through the dark time, right? And the dark time is longer and more difficult depending on how long you've been using or what kind of trauma you're trying to get space from. Because like I said, it doesn't go away. So before I quit drinking, I felt completely dead inside. Like nothing brought me joy anymore, not even things that used to bring me a lot of joy. I was trying everything that I could to try and feel something again, and I just couldn't. And I was concerned for a while that I never would be able to feel joy again. And I didn't for a long time. But after a certain amount of time, maybe like 6 months or so after quitting drinking, like I started feeling joy during activities that used to bring me joy again. And that was like, you know, like a light switch being turned on. Like, holy shit, you know, I'm free. I can feel again. Holy shit, you know. And that didn't stay there the whole time. It was kind of just like a, you know, it was a battle, it was a struggle, but you know, there is an end to it, and it's hard to find, but there is, I promise. Zoe says, I was drinking a lot back in the 90s, but I don't like that anymore. I drink from time to time, 1, 2 beers, but not very often. I don't like to be drunk anymore. I get that. See, I wish I could enjoy 1 or 2 beers, which, like, at the beginning, I can, sort of. I mean, I'll say that I want to have 1 to 2 beers, and then I end up having 6 to 8, and then I'll do it again the next day, and I'll trick myself into thinking that I got shit under control because I'm only drinking beer or cider or whatever. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm not drinking hard liquor. But then, give it a little bit of time, and I'm drinking hard liquor again. And it's always going to get that way. It took me 3 years to realize that I couldn't just pussyfoot around with that. And I had to do a hard line, like, no booze. Um, and that's okay. Like, cutting back was necessary, but I had it in my head that I could keep my shit under control, and that's totally just that's the illusion of alcoholism, right? It's a denial of where you're really at. Alright. Let's see. Hi, Satan. You already ate your munchie? You're crazy. Look at this baby dog. Good girl. Drink water. Shit. Well, if anybody wants to get down with the kickdown, I think I added links to the description this time, and if I didn't, then I will add them to my stream. God, they quit. They killed my. God, they quit. They killed my. Hold on. They took my thumbnail again. I actually took a video this time of the process that it takes to set up my live stream, so I'll upload that after this. It's ridiculous. I uploaded my thumbnail a number of times, and now it's not on there. I'm sorry, I'm just noticing that. Okay, let's take a look at the description. I think I did add the description this time. Yes, I did. Here we go. If anybody wants to get down with the kickdown, here is my PayPal. And I guess I'm gonna pin that pin message. There we go. If anybody wants to throw down, it does help. It really does. That's Cash App, and then here's Venmo. Yeah, I had to pay a $75 parking ticket this morning. Not fun. Okay, I don't like how my pinned comment is like right in front of my face, so I guess I'm just gonna unpin that. Okay, whatever, we're not doing that. That's annoying. Rushan said, I had to quit drinking because of a stomach ulcer. I really don't miss it though. See, I was at the point near the end there when I quit drinking finally, where I was definitely getting stomach ulcers and still drinking anyway. My stomach was all fucked up, and I was just like, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just gonna fucking die, I guess, probably. And, it was a really dismal, dark fucking place. It was a dark place to be. But yeah, there is life on the other side, and it's beautiful. And now suddenly, I actually give a shit if I live or die. And there were a few moments during my first few months, or there was a point maybe like 4 to 6 months in. No, it was after I started HRT. That did help. There's kind of there was an overlap period like after I started HRT where I was like also doing like a month or two sober before relapsing again and kind of starting the whole process over again. That went on for 3 years. There was a point where I think I was about to hop a train or something, and I felt some type of way that I hadn't felt before. and I was like, what is this like trepidation, this fear that I'm having? What is this feeling? And it that's it was like a sense of self-preservation. Like I was actually like, oh, like I wasn't afraid of hopping a train, you know, but there was like this unfamiliar feeling that I suddenly got where it was like this sense of self-preservation that I hadn't felt in so long. And it took me a while to understand what it was. I was like, what is this that I feel? It's literally like I have a sense of self-preservation now. I don't want to die. Um, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, am I afraid now? Like, am I scared to do the things that I want to do? And like, yeah, a little bit, which is good and healthy, I think. Like, especially when you're doing crazy shit like hopping trains or, you know, whatever. I feel like that's a perfectly normal thing to feel. But up until that point, I hadn't felt that before. Like when I was hitchhiking through Alaska and stuff, I had what I've called kind of passive suicidal ideation. Like I wasn't gonna do anything to myself on purpose, but if something happened, you know, I wasn't gonna be upset about it, right? Um, and that made for a really great adventure for sure. But you know, it's not healthy to feel that way. Definitely not good. And it, you know, it was dark. Like all of those crazy fun times that I was having, and those adventures, like I felt almost nothing during those. Um, and yeah, it wasn't up until that point, like maybe a couple years ago, when I was hopping that train after getting on HRT and starting to get sober, that I realized that I did actually care whether I lived or died. And that was a crazy thing to realize. And it was because I had started feeling again. You know, I felt I had felt a taste of joy finally, and kind of a taste of what my life could be like if, you know, if I could get past this mental block that was keeping me in a dark place. Uh, let's see here. I'm gonna look at my phone. I'm actually I am in a lot of physical pain right now with my leg. And it sucks. I'm gonna do a little bit of kratom. If anybody's got something to fucking say about it, go fuck yourself. Kratom is not good for you, for sure. It's not like a good, um, it's not like gonna fix anybody's problems or anything. I'm using it as a pain medication right now. And, you know, pain meds pain meds aren't good for you either, but you know what's also not good for you? Being in constant pain all the time. It's terrible for you. So like, you know, this is one of those situations where you can talk about the lesser of two evils. You know, I know everybody talks about the lesser of two evils when it comes to politics, and that's bullshit. That doesn't mean anything. Evil is just evil. But in this instance, you know, I guess it'd be more like harm reduction. Like, yeah, there is still harm done, but there's less harm done than the alternative. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And if you're a person who is sober or interested in sobriety or kicking or whatever, like, you know, when I say the term sober, I don't mean straight edge, okay? I think that's where a lot of people get fucked up. They're like, oh, you're not sober, you smoke weed and do kratom. Like, okay, I'm sober off of alcohol. I don't want to say all of those syllables. Um, if there was a better term that denoted specific type of sobriety, then I would use that, but there's not, so I just say sober. Um, Sober off of the substance that I have, uh, addiction issues with, etc. But if you are somebody that is interested in getting clean or sober off of whatever, um, instead of, like going through AA, and no shade to AA, that works for a lot of people, or NA or whatever, but what has been most helpful to me has been harm reduction philosophy. And there are harm reduction groups, support groups that you can get tapped into, and they're not going to tell you that you have to quit to be valid or like stay in the group. They will help you to reduce the harm while you're trying to do what you're going to do. And I like that. As an anarchist, harm redux is like the anarchist solution to or the anarchist answer to AA, or the anarchist version of that. It's not like you need a higher power to acknowledge whatever, and you can use that method if that's what works for you. But harm reduction is focused specifically on reducing harm. So I really like that. Terry Ray says, Kratom didn't work for me, maybe I was taking it wrong. It's tough because there's not a whole lot of information out there on it. I know how it works because I've always been into what is termed psychonaut. Like, I've always been identified as like a psychonaut, so I fuck with substances to get kind of an idea of how they work, to understand them better. And that's a whole conversation as well. But I do, exploration of substances and how they interact with me, interact with my psyche and my mind, and talk with other people who also explore that type of thing. But yeah, if Kratom didn't work for you, it didn't work for you. It's not like, I'm not saying like that's the thing to do. And there's different strains. It's really hard to get information about it, especially since like people that are not neurotypical. I don't believe that neurotypical is really a thing anyway, but people that have ADHD or autism, Kratom hits different, so it's even harder to get information about that. What I've found is that green strains are typically uppers for people. It's got more of an energized kind of effect, whereas red is more of a downer effect. But for me and for other people with ADHD, it's the exact opposite. So I've got some green Kratom right now, and most people that would be more of an energetic high. For me, it feels like a downer, like a pain med or something. So that's what I use for pain typically. But there's also, I've used white and yellow Kratom for anxiety. And yeah, I don't use red very much because like it really doesn't make me feel like anything. It just, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. I guess maybe I could mess around with other specific strains of red Kratom, which, I have. And it does work. It does do something, but it really doesn't have much effect on me at all. Terry races, do you just mix it in water, hot or cold? It tastes like shit. It tastes like fucking, like grass clippings, ground into dust. And I just take like you start with like a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Well, I guess, this is about a teaspoon, I think. I'm not going to tell you how much I do because I have much higher I don't like to compare dosages because then people that have an addictive mind and an addictive personality, like, it gets competitive. Like, even after not drinking for so many months, I almost said so many years, for a year and 7 months now, um, like, I realize that's something about myself with drinking. Like, I have this competitive nature about it, like people be like, oh man, I drank so much last night. I'm like, that's fucking nothing. You have no idea how much I've drank, motherfucker. Like, I am the greatest drinker of all time. Don't fucking don't even think that you can compare yourself to me, the greatest drinker. It's like that fucking weird. It's like such a stupid thought process to have, And I'm being hyperbolic, of course. Like, I don't actually like think, but that's like kind of the train of thought that I go on, and that's with other alcoholics too. Like, people that are addicted to alcohol, you can be addicted to alcohol and only have 1 or 2 beers a night. That can be an addictive thing to you. Like, there's no like greater or lesser addict. It's just where you are at your journey, in your journey, and how it affects you. Everybody's brain chemistry is different, like, anyway, so, like, if you want to try proper kratom, I would suggest getting a red strain and a green strain. You can go to the smoke shop and get, like, these little, like, these little tester packets, and start with, maybe I would say one, let's see. I don't have any spoons here. I have no spoons. Damn. Well, you just take a regular tablespoon, get, like, some of the powder. The powder's cheaper. Take a scoop with a regular tablespoon. Maybe, like, flatten it out too, because you're just starting, or even half. You could start with like 2 teaspoons. Start with 2 teaspoons. Mix it up into some room temperature water. Try that out in about a half hour. If you're not feeling anything, try 2 more teaspoons. For me, I take a few scoops. I don't need to give you details. I'm not trying to be like, I drink more kratom than you, blah blah blah, because that's fucking stupid. That's addict mentality, right? So that's why I don't like to compare dosages. Because I don't want to create a competitive sort of atmosphere. Mix it in juice? Hell no. No, hell no. Put it in as little water as it takes to get it mixed into a drinkable, just, yeah, as little as possible. Like, that much water for a couple scoops. Mix it in there real good. Slug it down, chase it immediately because it tastes like shit. It might make you gag. And also probably eat something with it because it is hard on your stomach. So, take it with a meal or something. Because, yeah, it's hard on your stomach. But also, like, kratom is not good for a lot of people too. So keep that in mind. Start small. And it is addictive. So don't use it every day. Yeah, because there is a withdrawal to it as well. But, on the other side of things, like, if you went to the doctor for pain, they're going to prescribe you, like, Norcos or fucking, Vicodin or some shit like that. And that's got a number of chemicals in it that are, not only hard on your stomach, but on your liver, and it's also habit forming and addictive. That's why they don't want to prescribe opiates to people unless it's, like, absolutely necessary. And I'd rather be on kratom than opiates personally. But kratom is good for people. Like, it was really important for me in kicking alcohol, and it's really helpful for people that are kicking heroin. A lot of friends of mine that are Most of the people that I know and love that are daily Kratom users are heroin addicts in recovery. So take that as you will. Um, and if you've already recovered, you don't need that. So don't get started on it. If you don't need it, you don't start taking it recreationally, right? Sounds gross. It is. It doesn't taste good. That's why people prefer the capsules. It's just like the capsules are so much more expensive. But for the same, it's like, yeah. East Mines Chris says, "Hey Corn, finally caught you on a live stream. Awesome. Reprobate United Rebellion patches are ready to send out to you." Oh, that's badass, dude. Hell yeah. East Mines Chris sent me a picture yesterday of a design that they had made for the Reprobate crew. So that's awesome. Hell yeah. I'll get back to you on the. Oh, I got the hiccups now. I'll get back to you on the messenger. I didn't know you were making patches. That's cool. I just thought you made a cool design. Terry Ray says, "I was on heavy opioids for many years and now I'm on the Suboxone. I'm happy." Well, honestly, like if you're on Suboxone, you could use Kratom as another stepping stone, to get off of the Suboxone, actually. I do know friends who have done that as well. So, something to look into. But you definitely don't want to be using them together. So yeah, that's a tricky thing. But yeah, it's just another stepping stone, like any medication that helps you get off of drugs or alcohol or whatever you're addicted to. It's not like the end goal, right? It's just there's stepping stones on the path to recovery. Oh, speaking of juice, I do have some. I drink some fucking delicious juice. Hell yeah. I'm gonna take a look and see if anybody got down with the kickdown. If you did, that's amazing. If you would like to, then I'm gonna go ahead and repost my money links, because I'm kind of hurting today. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a fucking hell of a last couple of days. It's I'm gonna take a look at my bank account and see how much I have after paying that parking ticket and paying some other stuff that I needed to pay. But there's my stuff. Terry Ray says it barely keeps the pain at bay. Yeah, it sounds like you don't really have any room to be fucking around then. Sorry to hear that. Just keep doing what's working for you, and maybe eventually in the future you'll find something else, but yeah, that sucks. Sorry. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look if anybody gets a shout out right now. Oh yeah, and I also got right before the live stream, I got a fourth call from Hanger Clinics. That's the company that ruined my life, that my insurance automatically referred me to after they denied the prosthetic clinic that I started working with, that I requested, that I wanted to go to. I finally picked up the phone and I was like, "Hey, you guys need to stop calling me." I actually took a video of it, because getting those calls was just like so traumatic, and so I picked up the phone and I said I need you guys to stop calling me. I'm not gonna work with Hanger Clinics. I got denied to the prosthetic clinic that I wanted to go to. I'm working on appealing it. So yeah, and then he was like, "Can I ask what happened?" And I told him what happened, and he was like, "Oh, holy shit, that's fucked up." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I obviously do not trust you, so goodbye." So they shouldn't be calling me anymore, and yeah, hopefully my doctor will be able to get through to to make the appeal for me about that, and hopefully it'll happen sooner than later. Hi, sweetie. Hi, baby. You are so cute. You are so baby. Look at this little baby. Oh my goodness. Look at this little baby dog. Floop. Yeah, you're a little flooper. Peep. Peep. Okay. I'm not seeing any notifications on my money apps, unfortunately. Damn. Well, shit. And we're almost at the top of the hour here. Let's see. Is there anything else that I've learned since quitting booze? Yeah, I guess the big one that was on my mind was what I was talking about earlier about how there really is so much more in life than alcohol-related activities. Like, you can make anything an alcohol-related activity if you want to. You really can. Um, but like most things aren't. Um, and and if you think they are, then you might be an alcoholic. Sorry to say it. Yeah, most things aren't based around booze. And most people aren't thinking about booze all the time, or um, you know, it's just not what's on their mind. Like, even if they are drinking at that moment, they're not drinking like I used to drink. You know, they're not. Most people. Some people are, and they're just alcoholics that haven't realized that about themselves yet. And that's a canon event. I don't need to go and liquor explain to people that they need help. You know, if they ask or something about my opinion, then I'll tell them. But like, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. Oh, and Terry, I wanted to shout out Terry because he did kick down, I believe yesterday. Yeah, last night. So thank you so much for that kick down, Terry. You're such a good guy. I appreciate you. Terry says, sorry, neck pain hitting bad now. Took Tylenol, won't stop. Hit small, but liquor. Sorry if you think I failed your cause. You're good, man. You do whatever the hell you want to do, man. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. And I really hope that you feel better, man. Mm. Uh-huh. I got my juice here. We're good to go. Oh, I'm gonna mix the juice with the fizzy. Let's see how that works. Making a cocktail here. Oh, that's another thing that I've learned. You can make cocktails that don't have booze in them. It's actually really enjoyable. It's like making potions when you're a little kid, you know, where you like put a bunch of stuff together, but like as an adult. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you can make cocktails without booze. It's awesome. I do it all the time, actually. There's something to be said about the ritual of fixing yourself a drink, um, and like taking that extra pride and care into mixing up a drink for yourself. You know, like getting some nice ice in there, uh, getting a few nice ingredients and making a nice, tasty beverage for yourself. I 10 out of 10 would recommend. Make yourself a non-alcoholic cocktail. It's delightful. This is a really lazy one, but it's good. It's good, especially with like little garnishes and shit. Like, fuck yeah. I used to have Bloody Marys for breakfast, because that's what alcoholics do. Um, but you can make a Bloody Mary any old time without the booze in it. It's delicious, and you can make ridiculous ass garnishes with like all the little vegetables and the pickles and the fucking shits. It's wonderful. Do it. Try it. Terry says, "Thanks, love you, Corn, love all of you. Love you too, Terry. You take care of yourself, and you're a good guy. You're doing your best, man. Don't feel bad about anything that you got going on." Your Shan says, "I hope you have a great day, Corn. Everything works out for you, so you don't have to go to that fly-by-night clinic." I'm not going to that clinic. 100% not going to that clinic. But now I have to wait, and unfortunately, my liner is fucked up. I might have to do a GoFundMe. I probably should do a GoFundMe to raise some money for a new liner. Oh yeah, I was gonna check how much money I have in my account. Let me see. Let's take a look. What do I got in my bank account? Yeah, I definitely need a new liner, and I need a new liner like a week ago. You know, it's bad. The only reason I'm not more upset about it is because like I'm in too much pain to walk around much anyway. So it's like, you know, but I really can't walk too much with my liner the way it is, because if it could break down, like the material could get a big hole in it at any point, and then I just absolutely can't walk at all anymore, and then I'm gonna have to be on crutches until I get a new liner, which I can't do that. That can't happen. And okay, my balance is $52. Okay, I have $52. Let's see how much a prosthetic liner that I need is on, let's see, Amputee Store. That's where I've been buying my liners out of pocket. Actually, you guys have been funding that for the last couple years, so thank you guys very much. All of the donations that people kick down during my streams go to that type of thing. You know, and keeping Satan happy, and you know, a number of other things. I don't go out and spend money on toys or booze, or, you know, like I'll get myself a nice meal once in a while, but like I really just, you know, I'm really on my grind. All right, let's see how much my liner is. Okay, $209. So if I can come up with 200 and some dollars, I'm sure there's shipping cost as well. Then I can get a new liner sent out to me in the next couple days. I don't have that. But if anybody wants to get down with the kickdown, I do appreciate it. That's exactly what it's going to. Hi, Bubba. Hey, sweetie. Because we already got Satan treats now. Huh, sweetie. Alright, I'm gonna go sit on the windowsill and smoke a cigarette, and if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, etc., anything at all, Satan, can you please get out of my fucking face? Thank you. She's being very aggressive for attention. Okay, I know you know what you're doing. Please stop. Thank you. What a fucking jerk. I love you. Oh shit, I need my other phone just in case anybody throws down in the PayPal so I can shout you out before I go. Alright. Yeah, and I really wanted to quit smoking this year too, but I also didn't realize that this whole saga was gonna keep going. You know, you gotta pick your battles. I'm not gonna add nicotine withdrawal to my problems today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. Terry says, I just wish federal government would legalize medical marijuana for all people, including government contractors, military, so I could take hemp CBD for nerve damage. Dude, really? That's what you need? CBD? Yo, I could send you some, man. Like, I'll text you after this, dude. Like, if CBD would be, if you know that would help you, like, we gotta get you some and make sure you keep getting it, because that's fucked. Like, CBD isn't legal, dude. Yeah, that is one thing that does help pain a lot, and it helps nerve pain too, man. Yeah, I'll message you after this and see what we can do about it, because if, like, you know, if you take care of that, then that would help you so that you wouldn't have to drink as much, and I would love that for you. I want you to be happy and healthy, man. Yeah, there's absolutely zero reason that CBD shouldn't be legal everywhere. Oh, except for the pharmaceutical companies and the lobbyists of the pharmaceutical companies. That's why it's not fucking legal everywhere. God, that pisses me off, man. I'm, like, angry for you. What a dread. I think you're in North Dakota, right? It's legal in Minnesota. If you got a buddy or some reason for somebody that's going out to Minnesota that can pick up a fuck ton of it for you, you should do that. Marshall Baldwin says, my comment was too long. Oh well, we'll just type half of your comment and then type the other half. We'll read it. We'll check it out. I want to see what you got to say. Terry Ray says, I'm trying to send you PayPal. Yes, that's the correct account. Thank you. Yeah, that's my dead name. Typically, you don't want to say a trans person's dead name publicly like that, but I'm not really sensitive about it or anything. Although I've had trolls over many years try to come in here and say it to me like I'm gonna freak out or something, which is really annoying. But the nice thing about the vertical or the horizontal streams is that we don't have a fuck ton of trolls in here, so that's great. Terry says, thanks, Corn, but if THC, even small amount caught in the system, I banned for nuke repair work for 10 years. Oh, I see what the issue is. Damn, dude, that sucks. That's really fucking sad, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, they gotta legalize that shit. Hey, what's up, Aaron? We are just, oh, shit. Holy shit, thank you, Teresa. Oh my god, you're so sweet. Let's see. Oh, Terry Ray. That is Terry. Okay, thank you so much, Terry. I really appreciate you. Terry Ray kicked down today. That's the only one I got, which is great. It's better than nothing. I'm very grateful for that. Let's just take a look at Venmo, just in case. Nope. Alright. Yeah, that breaks my heart, Terry. That sucks. Oh, man. I didn't know you do nuke repair. That's crazy, actually. I knew you were, like, doing something like that. I don't know. That's wild. Roman says, oh, this is an earlier comment. Roman says, I make potions from ashwagandha powder, passion flower, vine powder, and valerian root, like an herbal cocktail. That's dope, man. That's great. How you doing today, Aaron? How's your day? I'm about to fuck off in a second here, but and also I'm gonna send a link to the Discord server if anybody wants to join the Discord. Say hey, join the conversation. And I guess there's so much that I can talk about on this subject, and I'll definitely do more sobriety talks um, in the upcoming weeks and years, I'm sure. Um, but I guess, one of the most important things that I learned early on is just accepting yourself for where you're at and not beating yourself up about where you're at, because, like, you're already suffering and you already have problems. Adding your own mind as a weapon against yourself only perpetuates your struggle. So practicing radical acceptance, radical self-acceptance, and not beating yourself up about what you do is the first thing that you gotta tangle with. Getting rid of that shame, and self degradation, and just taking it for what it is. Whatever situation you're in, and whatever you've been using, or struggle with, it's not good, but it's not inherently bad either. Like, there's bad things that you can do with that and bad behaviors, but being an addict is not bad. It's not wrong. It just is. It is what it is. Just like in the same way, somebody with a bad heart or a bad back, it doesn't make them a bad person because they struggle with that. It's just a medical issue, right? So addiction is another medical issue, and our society doesn't treat it like that. It treats it like a morality thing, which it's not, and that is very toxic, and it causes people a lot of harm. And that's why I like harm reduction, because the basic principle of harm reduction is radical acceptance. So once you can accept yourself for where you're at, then you can assess it with kind of a clearer mindset, and come up with a strategy, like a plan and a strategy for how you can improve yourself in your situation in a way that isn't based around shame and punishment. Because the deepest thing about addiction, at least for me in my experience, is the internalized shame that I dealt with for a very long time. And obviously it took me years to get to the next point in my recovery process, but that's an under appreciated and underspoken part of the process. That's step one. Just acceptance. Marshall says Percocet and sativa 74 and with heart problems, remission from stage 4 lung cancer. At this stage, who cares if I have a low grade habit? Yep, definitely. And finally, a doctor who will work with me. Okay. Yeah. I mean, gotta pick your battles for sure. In this case, the lesser of two evils is the way to go. That's harm reduction, for sure. And yeah, if you got all those problems, having a habit that isn't the thing, or the thing that was killing you, that's better than doing that thing. Rushan says, y'all can call me Rusty, I'm just not sure how to change it on my profile. Alright, Rusty. I'll try to remember that. Hell yeah. Alright, chat, raise your hand if anything that I said helped you in any way. And if you have any questions, follow-up questions about anything that I've said that I can help expound upon before I go, let me know. Marshall says, yes, awesome. I'm glad. And if you want to, you can say maybe what it was that I talked about during the stream that kind of got your brain moving, yeah, if I've said something during this stream that was especially helpful to you, let me know what it was, because maybe I could do more of a talk about it in the future as well. This is the part of the DIY anarchist sobriety class where you you give me your feedback. Terry Ray says, Terry is my name. Okay, Terry. Got it. We've just got another Terry in chat here, so adding the Ray at the end is kind of helpful. But maybe I can call you Terry R. Or we can call Nomad Terry, and you can just be Terry, regular Terry. Brittany, that's a good question. Brittany says, do you think coming to the realization that you are trans helped you recover from alcoholism? I know coming out as gay helped my wife with hers, and I was curious. Absolutely, yes. Yes, and I've talked about that on my streams before. You know, my big kind of coming around to understanding myself better started with getting on HRT, and that cleared a lot of space in my mind to tackle deeper issues as well. Like being trans was a very deep issue, and fortunately for me, it was pretty easy to solve, which I didn't know, and that's a societal issue. Nobody told me or explained to me, or I had no resources or information really that that were available to me to understand like how important it is to realize that part of myself, and also to get on proper medication for it, which is my HRT, my hormones. And I didn't know that getting on hormones would clear up so much of my depression. Like I didn't see it coming. I knew I had an idea that it would probably help me in some way, but I didn't, and that, like, it took me a few days after I took my first dose, but, like, I realized that I was waking up in the morning without that dark shadow hanging over my mind. That was, like, every day before that, I woke up wishing that I hadn't woken up. Like, I just was like, oh, God, another fucking day. Like, I wish that it was another day, and then I would start drinking and be like, yeah, today's canceled. I fucking hate everything. I hate my life, and waking up without that heaviness on my shoulders and on my mind, like, really changed my life. At first I didn't realize, like, how big and life-changing it was until it kind of started to sink in over time, and I was like, wow, this is real. Like, I actually just don't have that background depression and, like, defeatism in life that I was dealing with, that I didn't even realize that I was dealing with this whole time. And I'm sure for other people, maybe it's being trans and you don't realize it, and you're just like, it's this deep-seated thing. Maybe it's other aspects of who you are that you're not allowing yourself to come to terms with, or maybe you don't know how, or you don't even know that that's a thing. And I wish it was that easy for everybody, like that there's just, I mean, brain chemistry is an interesting thing, and hormones are powerful. For some people, it could even be just like a hormone imbalance too, like or low hormone production. That's definitely something that everybody should get checked. You should get your hormone levels checked, because it's an easy thing to fix. We live in 2025, where we've got the means. That's one thing that people should check. But it could be other chemical imbalances as well. And If you can take care of that, then it makes a lot of things a lot easier to work around. Terry says, does my kickdown show? Yeah, I shouted you out a few minutes ago. I did see it. It's under a different name. I don't know if you want me to say it because it might be your dead name or something. But yeah, I did. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not missing anybody here. Terry says, "Oh geez, I'm so sorry." No, you're okay. You're good. I did shout you out. I'm very grateful. And that's it. That's what we got. If anybody else wants to do a last minute kick down, I do appreciate it. And otherwise, you know, that's not why I did this talk today. I'm not trying to get people to throw down money. It does improve my mood. It really does. But overall, like, is, you know, I'm in a decent state of mind. I'm just really frustrated about this whole medical coverage issue, and I hate being on the phone with desk jockeys and getting the runaround and being on hold for hours, and yeah, it sucks, but it's just another thing that I got to deal with right now. Aaron says, I love you, dude. Love you too. Brittany says, authenticity is healing. It really is, yeah. It's so important. Denying yourself the full experience of yourself is something that causes a lot of emotional damage and a lot of stress. So sometimes you got to take a real good hard look at yourself and accept yourself for who you are, even when the world doesn't. And in the case of being trans or queer in general, society is pretty hostile, unfortunately, and that's a whole other issue that can cause a lot of internal struggle. But that's, you know, that's not something that you can fix within yourself. That's, you know, it's like that saying, you know, be the change you wish to see in the world, or as within, so without, or whatever. Like, you can, and then there's that other saying, like, grant me the serenity to accept the things that to change the things that I can change and accept the things that I can't. Diesel Tuning says, Corn, it's gonna be okay. It's okay. Stay calm. This isn't easy. I'm pretty calm. I'm chilling, but thank you. I appreciate that. You know, life is hard. None of us asked to be born, right? And then all of a sudden we have to pay fucking taxes or whatever. Nobody asked for this, but we gotta work with the hand that we're dealt. And right now I'm not in a whole lot of pain, and I have, fortunately, the whole day to take it easy. Yeah, the Kratom's starting to kick in, so my leg's not hurting as bad. It doesn't take away all the pain, but it definitely makes it a lot more tolerable. And it does help with your mood, but, you know, that's where we're at right now. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Oh yeah, I was gonna send the Discord invite real quick here. So, if you have any last questions or follow-ups or whatever you'd like to say, now's the time. And I'm gonna go ahead and post this link in chat. Oh, my face. The thing about Kratom is it kind of makes my nose itchy sometimes when it's like first coming on. So it makes me look like I'm a cokehead or something, because I'll just be like, you know. I don't know what it is. It's like any pain meds in my experience, make me itchy. Like Vicodin makes me super itchy. I hate it. But it's not like itchy in like a real itchy way. It's just like a weird kind of tingly, like, ew. I don't like that. Yeah. Roman, I literally just said that. Yeah, you must have been typing that right when I said that. That's funny. It does. It does make my nose itch. Make my nose itch a little bit right now. Yes, super weird. But it's better than being in a lot of pain and whatever. Rusty says, love you to all my most cherished chosen family. You fucking reprobates. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, here's that link. Let's see. My phone is taking forever. Okay, here we go. Here's the Discord link. We do have a support group. It's called the Safe Room. And we also have the health center sub chats where you can go and get support for like health issues or emotional issues. It's really great. It's helped me a lot of times, and every now and then I check in on it and see people being real nice to each other, and it just warms my heart. So yeah, you can join that if you want. It's kind of a, you know, kind of like a harm reduction support group in a way. It'd be cool to get some like video meetings or something, maybe like once a week going, something like that. So if anybody wants to take charge and head that, I'd endorse it. I'd do it myself. I'm not trying to start any new projects right now. I've got a lot of stuff going on. But that's definitely something that's been on my mind. Running a support group would be kind of cool. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions or comments. So I'm gonna skedaddle. All right. Love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me, and thanks to Terry for the kickdown, and Nomad Terry for the kickdown yesterday. I hope you feel better, dude. And for the rest of you, take care of yourselves. Accept yourself for where you're at. Don't beat yourself up about whatever it is that you got going on. Don't be another foe in your fight, because you've got enough going against you. Alright? I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you later. Peace.